The air in Judea was thick with tension. It had been for decades. Rome was the master of the known world. Its legions had marched across continents. Its laws were imposed upon millions. But in this small, arid province, something was different. The Jewish people were fiercely independent. Their faith was ancient and absolute. They worshipped one God, an idea strange and stubborn to the polytheistic Romans. This wasn't just a political disagreement. It was a clash of civilizations, a collision of two worldviews that could not coexist. Every tax, every stationed soldier reminded them of foreign occupation. Roman governors often made things worse. They were frequently corrupt. They misunderstood or disdained local customs. Pontius Pilate, Gessius Florus. Florus was notorious. He plundered the temple treasury, a sacrilege. It was the final spark. It ignited a firestorm of rebellion that had been smoldering for generations. Zealots rose up. They attacked the Roman garrison in Jerusalem. They declared their independence. For them, it was a holy war. The rebellion spread like wildfire, a declaration of war against the most powerful empire on earth. The rebels' initial successes shocked Rome. They annihilated a Roman legion, the Legio XII Fulminata, sent from Syria. A stunning victory. But it sealed their fate. Rome could not tolerate such humiliation, the insult too great, the challenge too direct. Emperor Nero heard the news. This was full-scale war. It required an overwhelming response. Rome's patience had run out. The destruction of an entire legion was an unforgivable affront. Emperor Nero, Vespasian. They saw the Jewish revolt not as a simple insurrection, but as a cancer within the empire. It had to be cut out completely. The decision to attack Jerusalem was not merely strategic, it was punitive. Erase the center of Jewish identity and resistance. The message had to be brutal. Rebellion against Rome leads only to annihilation. The legions were not just soldiers, they were instruments of imperial wrath. Vespasian left for Rome after being proclaimed emperor in 69 AD. He handed command to his son, Titus. A chance for Titus to earn glory. Young, ambitious, utterly ruthless. He arrived outside Jerusalem in spring 70 AD with 4 legions. The timing was deliberate and cruel. He came during Passover. The city was swollen with pilgrims. Hundreds of thousands were trapped, a prison of their own making. Titus encircled the city completely. He constructed a circumvallation wall, a barrier of earth and timber miles long, an engineering marvel built with terrifying speed. Nothing could get in, nothing could get out. The city was a cage. The Romans settled in for a siege. Time, supplies, the best military engineers in the world. Their plan was methodical. Starve the city into submission. Let hunger, disease, and internal conflict do the work before the final assault. Inside Jerusalem, the situation was catastrophic. The city was not united, torn apart by brutal infighting. Famine took hold with a terrifying speed. Dark alleys of starving citizens huddled together. The grain stores, destroyed by the warring factions, were gone. Empty granaries, ruined warehouses. Food became the only thing that mattered. People ate anything. Leather from their shields, grass pulled from between the paving stones. Streets of scavengers. The city began to consume itself. The weak died first. Streets filled with emaciated bodies. Empty markets and eerie silence replaced voices. Desperation drove people to horrific acts. Ancient pages and Josephus's name hint at the later accounts. Jerusalem was no longer a holy city. It was a living hell, a monument to human suffering. The psychological toll was immense. Faces hollowed by hopelessness. Hope withered day by day. Siege engines loomed on the horizon. Catapults struck. Defenders on the walls watched in slow, grinding torture. They watched their families starve. They saw their city crumble. Rebels fought while praying. They believed God would intervene, that a miracle would save their holy temple. Titus showed no mercy. The siege ground on. He crucified any Jew caught trying to escape, sometimes 500 a day. Hills studded with crosses, visible from the walls. Psychological warfare. There is no escape. Surrender is your only option. Even that might not save you. The soldiers grew weary, but the orders were clear. The rebellion must be crushed with absolute finality. Siege works in motion, relentless. Roman siege towers and rams advanced, breaching defenses one wall at a time. The outer wall fell, then the second. Street to street, house to house fighting. every inch paid for in blood. Starving rebels fought with ferocity. Raiders tried to burn engines. It was hopeless. The Roman war machine was too big, too organized, too powerful. The end was drawing near. The final assault focused on the Antonia fortress, the key to the Temple Mount. After weeks of brutal fighting, the fortress fell. The Romans now stood at the very edge of the sacred temple complex. This was the heart of Judaism. Breathtaking beauty, profound holiness. For the Jewish defenders, this was the last stand. They would die protecting God's house on earth. Desperation escalated. The temple courtyard ran with so much blood, it was said to have extinguished the fires. Josephus says Titus did not order the destruction. He claimed Titus wanted to preserve it. But in battle, control is lost. A Roman soldier acting alone threw a firebrand into an inner chamber. Ancient cedar wood ignited instantly. Flames roared and spread with impossible speed. A collective, agonizing cry rose. They watched their holiest place burn. Their last hope turned to ash. Roman discipline collapsed. Gold melted in the inferno. Soldiers frenzied into looting and destruction. They slaughtered everyone they found. Priests, women, children. No one was spared. Command lost control. The legionaries exacted terrible revenge. It was apocalyptic horror. The temple collapsed into fiery ruin. The heart of the Jewish nation was ripped out. The fall of 70 AD changed history. It ended the Jewish state for nearly 2,000 years. It scattered the people across the globe, beginning the Great Diaspora. Rabbinic Judaism rose from the ashes, replacing temple-centered worship, turning toward scripture and toward prayer. For Rome, it was total victory, memorialized by the Arch of Titus. But for Jerusalem, it was the end of a world. A sacred promise broken, and history changed forever on that day of fire and ruin.